All right, so I'm here with Mackenzie, who is our client success manager. And Mackenzie, do you want to just tell us a little bit about what you do? And you specifically work with our account coordinators. Do you want to talk a little bit about your role and what you do?
Yeah, so every day I work with our account coordinators to find suitable and great accommodations for our team managers so that they can filter those down to our teams. So we work with them on distance, amenities, room types, and we just try to make their experience from start to finish as smooth as possible until they check in and then go on to their event.
Awesome, perfect. So we do get a lot of customer reach outs and team manager reach outs. So we're just gonna go through some of those today, and then you can just talk through how our team service those. These are a little bit more of our complex ones as our customer service manager. But we did have a guest call in from the airport and let us know just before she was boarding her plane that the hotel canceled her hotel reservation. She reached out quickly and they told her they would not reinstate it. So she called us in a panic, probably from the runway. Do you want to talk through how we were able to get that reinstated for her?
Yeah, so she did call us from the runway and we did let her know she was in the midst of the chaos of traveling. So we did let her know we'd connect with the hotel and be back in touch with her as soon as possible. So we were able to reach out to the hotel and just explain their reservation is active in EventConnect and it's confirmed. And we did let them know the reservation is still needed. They were able to reinstate it, get her a room for her stay, and we were able to let them know there was a room ready for her when she touched down after the flight. So smooth check-in process and a little bit smoother of a travel day.
That's awesome. Good news when you land and you have a room.
Yes.
Awesome. So we had another one, and this happens frequently in sport where injuries happen. So we did have a team member here who had to go into, I believe it was emergency dental surgery related to a sports injury. And the hotel would not allow them to cancel. And you know, if you're already, sports are expensive and you already have dental bills and everything else to pay for with this surgery, and then this hotel would not allow that cancellation policy to let them cancel or be lenient. You know, how do we handle those situations?
Yeah, well, we really wanted to take the stress off of her in that situation. She's dealing with a lot with her athlete. So we did let her know we will do our best to connect with the hotel regarding the penalties that they were going to be charged. We did connect back with the hotel, explain the situation. We had a strong partnership with this hotel and we explained the scenario. The hotel was willing to let them out penalty free. They weren't charged anything. The surgery was done and went well and they could kind of carry on with their season. So just utilizing those strong partnerships really helped us to have the guest not charged and kind of, you know, move along with their day.
Yeah, we've actually talked about that recently, about the power of our relationships within the industry to help people in need or when certain emergencies arise. We've had it happen a few times.
Yeah, it's been really great, like, to have that communication and they know that, okay, we're working with them, they're looking to work with us, and we kind of come to that solution, and that just helps the partnership grow, which is really nice.
Absolutely. Yeah. One thing you talked about in the beginning was matching teams to their needs. And very frequently we have large clubs that come through. This isn't your standard, I need 10 rooms at a hotel. We're talking 100 or 200 rooms and a very specific set of amenities that they need for their team. So that happens frequently. Can you talk to us about that process? About sometimes we do have to go out and procure more rooms or source more. So when we're looking at hundreds of rooms, free breakfast, free parking, couple minutes away from the venue, it's a tall order. How do we go about that?
Yeah, we really like to focus on how many rooms they need and what they're looking to get out of their experience, whether it's the breakfast, close proximity to the venue, and then we work with our internal teams and our procurement team to see what hotel option works best for them. So we really like to work with them on a club basis. How many teams are you bringing? What that looks like, and ensure that their experience matches where they're staying, and that kind of adds up to, you know, the ultimate experience of their event.
Yeah, that's great. You do talk about placing teams in hotels, heads and beds, right? But there is the part, once that block has been created, a large part of what your team does is what we call the consumption of that block. So ensuring that those courtesy blocks turn into actual reservations. And sometimes we do have team managers that are wonderful to work with, but it's getting the rest of the team on board to make their reservations.
Yeah.
What are some strategies that we use when we talk about consumption internally to make sure that those blocks are converted?
Yeah, we have some really cool messaging that goes out, text and email, but I always encourage our team to reach out to those team managers and gather feedback. How is your team liking the hotel? Do they need any assistance with those reservations? And just putting a voice to that block and give them the opportunity to ask questions, clarify the rate or whatever they have heard from their team, and then really just give them that block expiry date. Push them to make those reservations so that they do have a great experience and they can all stay together.
Perfect. So working with the teams as much as you and your team does, what are some of the top requests that you see from teams in today's landscape of team travel and sports tourism?
Yeah, teams want to stay together. They want the experience, they want the bonding, they want to be able to wake up and go to their games and do that as a team. They really like free breakfast or a breakfast included, and proximity to the venue is huge for them as well. They like that short distance to travel, and they also like, with our block expiries, we try to give them as much time as possible. So we like that flexibility to book within the next month if people have things going on. So that's a perk as well.
Awesome, perfect. So being in the role that you're in now, you get to see a lot of different experiences, and you also started in our customer service team. So you've also helped teams through a lot of different experiences. What is one that maybe has stuck with you over time that has pulled at your heartstrings or has been really special to you? I think we all have a couple of those stories, but what's one that has always sat with you?
Yeah, I had a team, this was a little bit ago, they needed 50 rooms for, I think it was a couple of teams. And the reason why they so badly wanted to stay together was their families had siblings on different teams, which is very important for them to be able to stay together. And we were at the point where we couldn't get much in terms of large blocks, and they were having to split up teams. We were able to work with procurement to kind of go a little bit further out in distance, but to give them those rooms all at one hotel. And to hear the team managers just be so excited that we found something that fit their needs, but maybe was a little bit farther out, and to hear her talk about the experience that these teams are gonna have, it was huge for me.
That's fantastic. So we do talk about it internally and about how that experience truly does start at the time of reservations and registration for the event. So much of that experience actually takes place at the hotel itself and not necessarily the venue or when they walk onto the court or the field or anything like that.
Yeah, starts at check-in, and we always wanna try to make sure it's the smoothest possible process for them to make their reservation, check in, and go to the field. And I think that's something we strive to do every day.
Awesome. So from a management perspective, what tools do we have in place to ensure that smooth process? Because a lot of it is late at night on a Friday or a Thursday night or over the weekend. What are some of the tools that we have in place at EventConnect to ensure that?
Yeah, we have our compliance team, we have our consumption team, we have our emergency phone, and then our management team is so great about being an open discussion. When we have flags, or maybe there's a situation going on, there's multiple people and experts in certain fields that are there to help you figure it out, whether that's at 8 p.m. on a Thursday or 1 p.m. on a Sunday. There is always someone there to help the guests and to make sure they can check in and have a good experience.
Awesome, perfect. Well, thank you for sharing some of your experiences with us today.
Thank you.
Awesome.